Today I'm bringing you my 25 most anticipated films of fall/winter 2016, and yes, I said 25 because I'm a huge cinephile. There are way more than 25 movies coming out in the next few months, but I couldn't narrow these down further than 25. So please know that this is my opinion, that these are the films I'm personally excited for. It will probably differ from your choices, which is fine and beautiful. Please respect my opinion though. And let's just get started. For the month of August, we have one film, and that is Don't Breathe by Fede Alvarez. Don't Breathe is a story of three teenagers who decide to rob the home of a blind man, but what they don't count on is the fact that he is a blind serial killer. So they're fighting for their lives after they decide to rob his house. It looks intense. Fede Alvarez gained acclaim with his remake of Evil Dead, so I have full high faith in this being a really tense, scary film. Now moving on to films coming out in September, there are quite a few. The first film is The Light Between Oceans, which comes out September 2nd. The Light Between Oceans is directed by Derek Cianfrance and stars Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. It's the story of a married couple who have a few miscarriages and their marriage isn't holding up well, and one day they find a boat washed up on shore with a dead father and a baby. They decide to keep the baby for themselves, but Michael Fassbender's character meets Rachel Weisz's character, who he believes may be the baby's actual mother, and he and Alicia Vikander's character have to decide whether to keep the baby or give it back to whom they believe the true mother is. I'm really excited for this one because this is where Michael and Alicia fell in love, and I think that's going to play beautifully into the story, and it's just a really intriguing story. It's set on a best-selling novel, so super excited for The Light Between Oceans. The next film coming out in September is Snowden, which comes out September 16th, and it is directed by Oliver Stone. Now, Oliver Stone's movies can be hit or miss. I think this one will be good though, because I'm super intrigued by the story of Edward Snowden. He is being portrayed by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Shailene Woodley is also in this film, and she's always a fantastic actress. The trailers so far have looked great, so I'm hoping for a really fantastic biopic that just pulls me into this world of conspiracies and technology and all this greatness. Another film that comes out on the same day is Blair Witch, directed by Adam Wingard. This was formerly known as The Woods, and it intrigued me from the moment I first saw the trailer. To be honest, I have not seen the original Blair Witch Project, which I need to amend. This follows the story of Heather Donahue's brother, who returns to the forest that his sister went missing in to try to find out what the hell happened to her. Scary shit starts to happen. It just looks super intense. I'm a huge fan of Adam Wingard. His two previous films were amazing, so I have very high hopes for Blair Witch. The next film coming up in September is Morgan. This comes out September 2nd and is directed by Luke Scott, who is Ridley Scott's son. It looks super intriguing. It's about this girl named Morgan, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and she has these powers and she's being held in a government facility. These officials have to decide if they want to keep her there. Things start to turn sinister. It looks really, really tense and thrilling, and I have high hopes for this film. Magnificent Seven, which comes out September 23rd, and is directed by Antoine Fuqua. This is a remake of the original Magnificent Seven, which in itself was a remake of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. It's about 7 different outlaws, and it looks so good, so action-packed, and knowing Antoine Fuqua, you know it's going to be a badass film. And it stars Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, and a bunch of other awesome people, so highly, highly hyped for this film. And the last film coming out in September is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. That's a mouthful. Comes out September 30th. It's directed by Tim Burton, based on the best-selling novel by Ransom Riggs. It's basically X-Men meets The Orphanage, and it looks fantastic. I hope it lives up to Tim Burton's earlier works. But I think it looks great. I'm super excited to see Ava Green in the lead role. She is fantastic. And I'm super excited to see the kids' abilities and the beautiful locations. You know the costumes are going to be superb. You know the soundtrack is going to be excellent. So I have high hopes for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Now moving on to films coming out in October. The first one up is American Pastoral, which comes out October 21st. And it's Ewan McGregor's directorial debut, which he also stars in. And it's about how his daughter decides to take a political stance that clashes with her family's beliefs and what unfolds from that. And it just looks so well done. I believe it languished in development hell for a very long time, so I'm cautiously optimistic about American Pastoral, but from what I've seen, it looks gorgeous, and I'm excited to see how Ewan performs as a director. Another film that comes out October 21st is A Monster Calls, and it's directed by J.A. Bayona. This is based off of Patrick Ness's best-selling novel. It's about a boy whose mother is slowly dying of cancer, and he meets a monster who is voiced by Liam Neeson, and this monster lets him get out all the feelings he has inside about his mother's illness and what he's feeling. And it looks so beautiful, and J.A. Bayona directed The Amazing The Orphanage. He directed The Impossible. He's going to be directing the next Jurassic World film, so you know this is going to be a very highly polished film. Super excited for it. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be bawling my eyes out during it. Another film that comes out October 21st is The Hen Main, which is Park Chan-wook's latest film, and Park Chan-wook directed Old Boy, which is one of my absolute favorite films of all time. And The Hen Main is about a young woman and her handmaiden, but her handmaiden isn't who she appears to be. And it looks so intriguing, so suspenseful, and I just can't wait. If you've seen Old Boy, you know how fucked up it was and how magnificent it was, so I have high hopes for The Handmaiden. Some more films that come out in October slightly earlier are The Girl on the Train, which comes out October 7th, and it's directed by Tate Taylor, who previously directed The Help. The Girl on the Train is based on the best-selling novel by Paula Hawkins and is about a woman, played by Emily Blunt, who every day on the train sees this couple, played by Haley Bennett and Luke Evans, and one day she notices the wife disappears. I've heard it's very Gone Girl-esque, which I'm a huge fan of Gone Girl. Emily Blunt always slays it, and I just really need a good thriller in my life. Another film that comes out on October 7th is The Birth of a Nation. You may know that this was the film that sold for the most amount of money. I believe was it Sundance? If I get this wrong, I'm going to feel so bad. For $17.5 million. It's a story about slavery. It looks brutal, but it looks like it's going to be a fantastic watch, very inspirational. And the last October release I want to mention is Tower, which comes out October 12th. And this chronicles the true story of how a sniper climbed to the top of the tower of University of Texas in 1966 and held the entire campus hostage for, I believe, was it 96 minutes? And this is told through archival footage, animation, and it looks spectacular. It looks like a very unique documentary, and I've always been fascinated by this case. The sniper himself asked for the police to do an autopsy on him when he was executed, and they did find he had a brain tumor, so I'm super fascinated by this topic, and I think the mix of archival footage and animation will be superb. Now for films coming out in November, first one up is Doctor Strange, which comes out November 4th. It's directed by Scott Derrickson, stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Tilda Swinton and Rachel McAdams, and Mads Mikkelsen as the villain. And of course, Doctor Strange is about a brilliant surgeon named Stephen Strange who, after being in a car accident, his hands are mangled up, he can no longer be a surgeon, so he travels to see the Ancient One, and he learns how to harness the power of his spirit and stuff like that. I'm not super familiar with the comics, please forgive me. I'm super excited to see Mads Mikkelsen's villain. I'm hyped to see Chiwetel Ejiofor as Carl Mordo, and I'm really excited to see Rachel McAdams as the Night Nurse. I think this is going to be one of Marvel's best films to date because it looks spectacular. Have you seen the special effects in the trailer? Have you seen Benedict Cumberbatch? He's freaking hot. He's got a six-pack. I'm super hyped for Doctor Strange, and if it follows in the footsteps of Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man, it's going to do superbly. The next November release I want to talk about is Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, which comes out November 11th. There has not been much information released, but it stars Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. Amy Adams plays a linguistics expert, and Jeremy Renner is a mathematician, and they are assigned to try to decipher a language from these aliens who have come, and they have to decipher what these aliens want, why they're here. It looks super interesting, and Denis Villeneuve's films are fantastic. Prisoners was great. I wasn't a huge fan of Sicario, but I loved the writing, so I'm super excited for Arrival. The next film I want to mention is The Age of 17, which comes out November 18th. And yes, I know this looks like one of those typical teenage laughter fests, but you know, I have a soft spot in my heart for those, and this one looks a little interesting. It stars Haley Steinfeld as a girl who realizes her best friend is hooking up with her older brother, and she has mixed feelings about this. She's going to see her school's counselor, who is played by Woody Harrelson, which, come on, Woody Harrelson always knocks it out of the park. I think it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic between her and her best friend and her older brother. And it looks actually genuinely funny and heartwarming. So, yeah, I'm excited for The Age of 17. So what? Plus, it's directed by a woman. Woohoo! The next November release is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which comes out November 17th, and it's directed by David Yates. This is the prequel series to Harry Potter, and it stars Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander. It has an all-star cast including Catherine Waterston, Colin Farrell, and Ezra Miller. Since David Yates directed the final 2 Harry Potter films, and this has J.K. Rowling's stamp of approval, I believe this is going to be a major hit, and I'm super excited to experience the world that Fantastic Beasts takes place in. The next film up is Disney's Moana, which comes out November 23rd. Moana is about a young girl who decides to set sail and travel to a mysterious island, and joining her on her journey is this ancient demigod who is voiced by Dwayne Johnson. I just love Disney films, okay? I feel like this is going to be fantastic. It looks so cute and so beautiful. Super excited for Moana. Next up is Elle, which comes out November 11th, and it's the latest film from director Paul Verhoeven. And Elle is about a woman who, one day while she's at home, an intruder breaks in and rapes her, and she decides to take revenge. And it just looks so fascinating to me. It is a very intense looking trailer, and I'm just super excited to see what Paul Verhoeven has come up with, and super excited to see how the story unfolds. Next up is Allied, which comes out November 23rd, and it's the latest from famed director Robert Zemeckis. It stars Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard, and it's about a couple who fall in love, but Brad Pitt's character doesn't realize that Marion Cotillard's character may be a Nazi spy. It looks super interesting, super beautiful. Can't wait. And the last film that I want to mention coming out in November is Loving, which comes out November 4th, and it's the latest from Jeff Nichols. It stars Joel Edgerton and Ruth Negga. It's about the true life story of the Loving couple. The Loving couple received media attention and legal action because they had an interracial marriage, and it's a very inspiring, heartbreaking story, and I adore Ruth Negga. I think Joel Edgerton's a fantastic actor, and I have loved Jeff Nichols' previous films, so Loving is definitely high on my list. And now moving on to the final month of the year, December. You know what this means. Rogue One! Rogue One comes out December 16th. It's directed by Gareth Edwards and stars Felicity Jones, Mads Mikkelsen, Diego Luna, Forrest Whitaker, Donnie Yen, Alan Tudyk, so many amazing actors. And it's the story of Jyn Erso and her crew. It's about the Rebel Alliance, the Rogue One Squadron, and the end of the film is set to take place 10 minutes before A New Hope, so I'm super intrigued by this film. It looks amazing. That glimpse of Darth Vader in the new trailer made me squeal like a little girl, like, no joke. I'm super, super pumped for this film. The next film coming out in December is Passengers, which comes out December 21st. It's directed by Morton Tildum, who directed the fantastic Imitation Game. And Passengers, not a lot of information has been released so far about this. It stars Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, who are 2 phenomenal actors. And it's set on a spaceship. It's a very interesting story. It's about this couple who have basically been frozen, and they awaken years before they're supposed to, and they wander around the spaceship by themselves, and that's all I know. It looks fantastic. I have high faith in the director, and I just love a good science fiction film. The next December release is La La Land, which comes out December 2nd, and it's directed by Damien Chazelle. I'm a huge fan of Damien's previous film Whiplash, and this film stars Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Again, it's centered around music, and it looks so beautiful. It's set in Los Angeles, and I love the chemistry between Ryan and Emma, and I just cannot wait to see how this film plays out. The next December release is Assassin's Creed, which comes out December 21st. It's directed by Justin Kurzel, who directed last year's acclaimed Macbeth, and it stars Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard. And This doesn't really line up with the video game per se, which gives me hope. It's about a man named Colin Lynch, who's played by Michael Fassbender, who is basically kidnapped by Abstergo, and they basically kill him, they revive him, they link him up to the Animus, and he plays the dual role of his ancestor Aguilar. And I'm just so intrigued by this. They have said that there are going to be characters in the film that are from the games, but they haven't announced who. I'm really hoping to see Ezio at the Torre de Firenze because, come on, I love Ezio like so much. Like, I just want to see Ezio on screen. I have high faith that this will be a great video game adaptation because have you ever seen Michael Fassbender in a terrible movie? No, you haven't. So I have faith. And those were my top 25 most anticipated films of fall/winter 2016. I know it was a lot. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you're anticipating for the next few months in the comment box down below. If you liked the video, leave me a like. Share the video if you'd like to. That'd actually be really helpful. I would like for this video to reach at least 100 views because this was a lot of work. And please, subscribe so you can see more of this face and hear more of this goofy stuff that comes out of my mouth. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to follow me on any social media sites, they're all listed down below. I love you all so much. Peace and kisses. Bye.